Hello, my friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family. So, guys, what is up with all these explosions going on around the world and fires as well? You know, there are no coincidences, as it says in 2020. It's just been one thing after another. Of course, we saw the massive explosion in Beirut, and we'll look at that in detail again later. But others as well. We see in Saudi Arabia, we had explosion at a train station in the city of Jeddah today. So whenever I see fires, explosions, things like that going on at places like train stations, or perhaps on a bridge like we saw in Arizona with a train derailment and explosion, you gotta wonder, just saying. We've seen a lot of very curious things. There's an explosion in North Korea that killed 9 people, injured at least 30. And this, they are saying, was a gas leak that exploded. And gas leaks happen. And again, in these times, with everything going on from an earth change standpoint, and, thinking about expanding earth theory, thinking about just all the earthquakes and the seismic shifting going on of the crust, you could have that contribute to some of these things. And then, of course, with what's pointing ever so clearly towards a global war breaking out, you gotta wonder about things like espionage as well. The Apple fire over in California remains at 30% contained. They should have full containment around the 17th of August. Pine Gulch fire grows nearly 12,000 acres amid dry conditions, and this one could still end up expanding as well, so it's one to keep an eye on. And we have the Upper Provo fire, 36% contained now. It was abandoned campfires, they say, that sparked new blazes, so campers out there, please be careful with the dry conditions in so much of the West right now. Wildfire burns more than 900 acres, and this is near Idaho National Laboratory. They say that it's now fully contained. And we saw wildfires in France and Albania, and now we see them in Argentina as well. And also we have the Texas fire in California as well, ongoing, and this is only at 50 to 75 acres, but is a recent fire, so we'll keep an eye on that. We were talking about how the wind is going to be increasing. If you guys remember the Adam and Eve story by Jan Thomas, talking about when we go into a crustal displacement event during a pole shift, we might see anywhere from 300 mile an hour to 1,000 mile an hour winds. Let's hope that doesn't happen in all of our lifetimes. But we have seen some record gusts. This was 147 miles per hour. And I remember going up there as a little kid. Great Lakes had their first water spout outbreak of 2020. And that looks like nuclear reactors going on down there. Don't like that. And we had talked about that before. And more people I see making the comments as they become aware of things that you don't really want to be around nuclear reactors if the grid goes down. And that would be something, again, it depends on the construction, how old they are. But again, if the grid goes down for a prolonged period of time, it could be a problem. Series of explosions recorded at Telica volcano over in Nicaragua as we keep ramping up the earth changes. And so a new study, the scientists are saying that the likelihood of the San Andreas going is increasing. It's actually overdue to go, especially in the southern end, over towards, as you see right here, this segment over here, that's going to go to the northeast of San Diego and to the east of Los Angeles. This section is very, very overdue. So as we have been watching, and we've been watching that slow slip, just ongoing, Cascadia on down. Let's just take a look at the USGS and see what's going on here. So 301 earthquakes they're showing globally in the last 24 hours. Of course, they don't always cover everything, especially in certain areas like Europe, and they don't really cover them all in Mexico as well. But we can see 209 of the 301 are in the western U.S., and it actually looks rather typical right now as we go on out. We see Japan had some 5.1 and a 5.2 over here, some of the larger ones. 5.4 in the Easter Island region right now. And let's just take a peek at Hawaii while we're doing this, because there was an increase in activity. Right now we have 17 over in Hawaii. And on top of Mauna Loa, and this one is above sea level at negative 2.4 kilometers. Always could be indicative, and this one's at negative 3 kilometers. Could be indicative of lava flow, perhaps. Now, don't forget, the floods are still ongoing in India. They have been so hard hit. As you see everybody just huddling inside a house in ankle to knee deep water. And it's not just India, as we have been saying. As you can look at that water rushing by. That's right outside the door. So that could definitely sweep somebody away if you weren't careful. And this also is in India. Again, as they said, again. And over in China, still going on. A lot of people are thinking this could be weather wars we're seeing. And that is what we have gotten. Taking natural events and perhaps amplifying them. Again, all leading to crop loss. And also leading to many, many homeless people, which is going to lead to a lot of refugee camps. And here we see South Korea is battling it as well. So let's send our prayers to all those suffering through all this. And over here we see global warming, parts of Tasmania covered in snow, first time in 40 years. Victoria, once in a decade snow event, as Antarctica cold blast engulfs Australia. Records everywhere. Just the extremes is what we're seeing. Got 16 fresh inches of snow across the Alps as well. And that's up in Italy. It's at about 8,860 feet. Ottawa, though, sets the record for the hottest July in nearly 100 years up in Canada. So that's what I mean. We got both extremes going on. So study finds herbivores and the larger herbivores, like we are looking at hippos, at the highest risk of extinction. And so will all the large mammals suffer the same fate as the dinosaurs, saber-toothed tigers, woolly mammoths. It seems that life is getting smaller and smaller on Earth, and it gets you thinking about giants, doesn't it? So we see here of 7 studied crops grown in 13 states across America, 5 showed evidence decline in bees is hampering crop yields. So don't forget about the mass die-offs of bees. And we have more farmers declaring bankruptcy despite record levels of federal aid. And there's so many things going on there, from not being able to get people to actually do the picking because of the whole CV19 situation, as well as obviously all the earth changes. And this shows you what we are facing in these times. Bank robber went into a bank, and what did he steal? He stole the hand sanitizer. That just about says it all. So guys, I certainly hope people are doing their prep and they are having gardens growing. And over here we have a link to insteading. You guys could take a look through 10 functional and productive vegetable garden plans, because that is going to be a key in the time coming up. Utilize your space as best you can. Get yourself into that growing mode. Wood pallet gardening is really cool, simple, fun. You could do them many different ways. Hopefully this will inspire people, and you don't have to keep everything separated either. Sometimes intergrowing, like the Three Sisters, can be very beneficial as well. So as always, guys, thank you for your support on Patreon and also on Ko-Fi. God bless and namaste.